In this segment, I'll just talk about some of the things that I handled in this project, which was a multi-person project. It was four of us that actually worked on it. Um, my responsibility was to handle most of the technical stuff, so I dealt a lot with Kismet. I also made some materials. Show you that really quick. I also made these materials that you'll see within the level. This is for the torches. This is for the I made a small button. I also had some walls that were glowing within the game, but we end up not using them. These are for the statues that have like a mini fireplace within them. You can see it has like a glowing eyes and mouth. This was already in UDK. I just changed the color of the fire for just the purpose of our level. So let's get into Kismet really quickly. So all of these are sequences within the level. We have music, a trap floor, or I should say trap floors, a supply room, boss placeholder, locked door, enemy horde, secret room, AI courtyard, first hall torches, and a checkpoint system, as well as the torch encounter. So I'm not going to run through the music because that's pretty simple. Actually, I'll show it. It's just level loaded, play music, and I have music plugged into this Kismet node that we chose. For the trap floor, however, I can jump to that in the level, show you how that works. So we have a radial impulse actor, we have a trigger volume, we have a toggle, a destroy node that are connected to the impulse actor and a blocking value. So what we had to do was create a fractured static mesh, which is right here. Let's see, I'll find it in the content browser, which is right here. And we just created from a mesh that was already within UDK. And then we placed a impulse actor above it. And what happens is when this impulse actor is activated, it applies force onto the fractured static mesh and pretty much crumbles it. So we have, once the player touches this volume, we toggle the impulse actor, which in turn destroys the fractured static mesh. And we destroy the blocking volume because if the blocking volume is still there, then the player will just walk across where the fractured static mesh used to be. It also plays a sound for the fractured static mesh being destroyed. So that was simple. Then we have the supply room, which is a little bit more difficult. So let's jump over to there. Okay. So let's minimize this really quick. So these notepads are just where I spawn the enemies. And you see we have two of them in there. So when they spawn, I didn't want them to just immediately attack the player. So what I did was I had them freeze. And then on trigger, when this trigger is touched, I want them to run a trace. Basically, they're just going from point A to point B within the supply room and then looking to see if they see the player. And if they see the player and their view is not obstructed, they'll fire with this node. And then if it is obstructed, they'll stop firing. And then they'll reset the cycle if there's no one in there. So this keeps them pretty much in a gameplay loop, so to speak, on the AI side of things. Then I'll go to the boss last. Let's go to the locked door. Let's jump to that really quickly. So there's a trigger here for this button, and basically what happens is you push the button, and it opens the door that leads to another area. That's pretty simple, and I'll show you that when I do the run through of the map. It's pretty straightforward. It also plays a matinee. It puts it in the cinematic mode, as you can see right here. It plays the matinee, which is just pretty much a door opening and giving the player an idea of where he or she should be trying to move to. Then from there, let's go to the enemy horde. Actually, not yet. Let's go to the secret room. So, for the secret room, let's minimize this. There's also another button which opens a door. Let's see. It opens a secret door where there's enemies, also some items that you can't find anywhere else in this small level. And it activates a impulse actor. As you can see, it's out of the way. This wall right here is a fractured static mesh. Let's see. Let's find this in the content browser really quick, which is the same wall we use for the floors. So when that impulse actor is activated, let's get a closer look. When it's activated, it will blow that wall to smithereens. Then the player can come in, fight those enemies, and get the weapons that are in here. Just a little hidden area. The player doesn't have to come here to finish the level. So from there, let's go to the AI. As simple as this looks, actually this is one of the more simpler AI Kismet sequences we have. This basically just freezes the bot and has him fire at any players. We didn't want too much movement, at least not any scripted movement. We wanted it to be sort of random, so we didn't add any traces or path nodes. And from there, we have, this is the AI for the first hallway. So what happens is, when a player is loaded, we spawn a bot, which is, it's only one bot that we spawn. And then from there, we have him move to certain areas or actors, in which, in this case, we have a path node. And then we actually have two path nodes. There's one there, there's one there. So we want him to move in between these two path nodes as sort of a patrol area. Then as he's running those two, or from path node 0 to 1, we want him to run a trace at all times looking for the player. And it's pretty much the same as before. You see the player and your view is not obstructed, shoot the player. You don't see the player, stop firing, or in most cases, if he's not firing, he won't fire at all. And then this drags a loop to move in between the actors up until the point he sees the player. Not difficult at all, right? So from there, we already discussed the torches, not going to go back into that. Let's look at the checkpoint system. So the checkpoint system is pretty easy if you know what direction you're trying to go in. So we did some research on this, and the research provided was a bit too difficult for the amount of time that I had to implement this stuff. So just end up trying to freelance it. So basically what happens is, once the level's loaded, the player has the first spawn point, which will always be the default spawn point. Then once he hits the next trigger, what happens is we disable or turn off the spawn point, and we enable the second spawn point, or the player start point. Then from there, when the player touches the third one, it disables the second spawn point and enables the third one. So the player will only spawn at those spawn points. If you leave them all enabled, the player will spawn randomly. And that's pretty much it for this and the Kismet events. So I'll run through the level really quick so you can see all this in action. Okay. And forgive me if it lags a little bit. It's probably a multitude of the level itself and me running the recorder. And no, I didn't want to build the lights for the sake of time. So, as you can see, as I showed you before about the traps, and you see the enemy running on a path. No, he didn't see me.
First blood.
First blood. And as you see, the enemy's out here. As you saw, the Kismet node, there was a warning for unfreeze. And here's the checkpoint. So we've reached the checkpoint. Push the button in, and it shows an area where we need to be going to. But before I go there, I want to show you the secret area in the bottom. Alrighty. There's some items in here as well. The wall exploded. And once we get in here, we should see the box. You can see they're full on assault on the player.
Killing spree.
Give me some health back. And a rocket launcher. So we just wanted to give some benefit to actually coming in this room. And there you have it, a rocket launcher. Okay, Kismet warnings. Letting me know that enemy boys are spawned. And I didn't want them to be too difficult to kill, so I piled them in a little area. Here's the trap floor coming up. There should be another one. There you go. Jump into that. Actually, I'll show you how the checkpoints work as well. You jump down here, the player dies. And he spawns right back at the checkpoint. It's going to be kind of hard to kill this boss. See, there's a pattern for those to follow. And that's the end of the level.
I've got your back.
Again, thank you for watching this short presentation. And I'll be posting another one soon.